Hey guys, I'm Sai and welcome to Ace Podcast Nation. On the channel, we have podcast interviews and content on all sorts of subjects from wrestling, football, MMA, boxing, films and TV, all sorts of crazy stuff, all sorts of amazing guests and experts galore. We have a live football podcast every Monday with former Premier League player Andy Campbell, who's really recently been replaced by former Premier League player Kevin McNaughton. We also have an MMA show weekly with former Cage Warriors champion Danny Batten, breaking down the MMA and boxing world. And we're going to talk some wrestling today. And I'm joined by wrestling expert, journalist, writer, interviewer for Post Wrestling. Got his own YouTube channel. Support that. Subscribe to youtube.com/Andrew Thompson interviews.
Custom URL.
Custom URL, brand new. And you heard the man himself. Welcome, my friend. How are you?
Doing good, man. I'm glad to be back on the podcast. It's been so long, but I mean, rightfully so, because it really hasn't been any big events taking place when we usually do these shows. So, but now it's a really big event this weekend. We got Wrestlemania, as WWE has told us, too big for one night.
Too big for one night. Oh,
putting smiles on faces.
Yeah, that's to be determined. Could be terrible, but I think the matches will probably be all right. It's just, I just think the matches have got to be they've got to be very, very, very good to keep your interest with no crowd. They've got to be even better. And we'll get into the card a bit later, but some of the matches have got the talent to put on amazing matches. And then I look at a couple of the other matches and I wonder whether they've got enough to do a full match with no crowd and really hold my attention. But, you just don't know because they're all recorded. It's a bit easier for the WWE to make them more entertaining because they can edit the shit out of them. Goldberg's going to be in a 1 hour Iron Man classic with Braun Strowman, and it'll be match of the year contender.
Yeah, wasn't that Edge was big up in his match in these interviews. He said this match is gonna be hard to follow. So, hey, I'm looking forward to that. He big up in his matches like that. So we gonna see. But you want to know one of the matches that I think is gonna suffer so badly from a no crowd. It's probably gonna be one of the worst ones. Just because there's no crowd, Otis and Dolph Ziggler. That match is going to be the shits because the crowd literally made this feud. They made it. That's why it was so entertaining. And now you don't have them. I'm pretty sure. Mandy Rose even confirmed it in an interview. She said she's gonna be a part of that match. I'm pretty sure. Can you imagine all Otis and Dolph Ziggler going back and forth in the ring in front of 50,000, 60,000 people, and then they see Mandy Rose walk down. Yeah. Crowd gonna go crazy. You know what I'm saying? And she walked down at the Performance Center, no fans. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna be the same, bro. It's not gonna be the same.
The thing is, as well, is you could have had a Sonya. It looked like they were hinting that Sonya Deville is working something out with Dolph to kind of push Otis out of the picture, and then it's you can't even do the Sonya reveal or turn effectively if they were going to do that because you don't have the crowd reaction to it, so it's difficult. Same with King Corbin and Elias. I can't see how that's gonna, some of these matches,
right there.
Yeah, some of these matches though, they can just be 5 minutes, can't they? And they don't have to be long. But then there's also a couple of matches which I think will be better because they're recorded. I think The Undertaker versus AJ Styles could potentially be quite entertaining.
Boneyard.
Because it's recorded. Even the John Cena Fiend match, whilst I think in front of a live crowd and as a match, it would have probably been quite entertaining initially. Once they made it a Firefly Funhouse match, you just don't know what that's going to be.
So now that they have it as a Firefly Funhouse match, that probably means it's going to be Cena versus Funhouse Bray. And Cena's probably going to get the
I think because it's recorded, I think it'll be both. And the match is supposed to be The Fiend. It says on all the
Oh,
official
okay.
stuff.
It's okay. So the thing. Oh yeah. Oh, I
But
forgot
do you
about that. I
remember?
forgot about that.
You remember all them years all those months ago when I said they should do a thing where uh, he changes from the Fiend to Funhouse Bray like halfway through a match, and I
Mhm.
discussed like the logistics of whether that was possible to kind of rip off the stuff quick enough. Well, they can do that now, can't they? They could do the Fiend and Funhouse Bray both beating up John Cena at the same time if they wanted to. They just need to use some special effects. But I think we see Bo Dallas in that match.
Really? Oh, that's a new theory I ain't heard yet.
Yeah, I think so. I think this will be the reveal or the beginning of uh his kind of new twist on the character. And I think it'll go the way of being a bit of a stable. Because the one thing I think with Bray Wyatt is I think he's very creative, but also he knows that one of the biggest problems with his old character was that it got stale and they didn't change it. And I think, when they let Luke Harper and Eric Rowan he set them free when they first broke up the Wyatt family when they shouldn't have broken them up, and they did these promos where he set them free, and they had their new characters and they went off. I think the idea behind that was that Bray Wyatt felt that the character or the gimmick was getting stale, whereas my personal opinion was that it wasn't getting stale. It was just that he kept losing the big matches. Whereas now I think the Fiend has been like the story has been told to finish with John Cena. So I think they've got to take it in a slightly new direction. And I think this being recorded and with John Cena is the perfect chance to do that. So I think they may go in that direction. But
I can't wait to see the Fiend like put the mandible claw of John Cena like on a kitchen table or something like that. It's gonna be something funny, like whack him with the that mallet.
so I saw someone on a Facebook page said that because John Cena, if John Cena was going to retire, say for instance, and this was it, I don't think it is myself. I think that especially because there's no live crowd, so he
No way.
can't
Yeah,
have a
no
proper
way.
say goodbye.
It ain't no
But
way.
he said if John Cena in his mind was thinking before all this happened, this was his last ever match. This guy's just said, just have Bray Wyatt, just have the Fiend literally murder him. I was like, okay, that's a bit harsh,
That's
but
that's a take.
yeah, I was like, okay, but I think he meant like just like in like a
Snap his
um,
neck
yeah, like in a horror movie type.
like he did in the match with Finn Balor.
Yeah, but have it finish.
Finish
That
it. Yeah.
I'd still say that should have been the finish, and that could have been his new impact finisher. But before we go into the WrestleMania card, obviously we didn't do a elimination chamber show because yeah, it was just what it was. Um, Roman Reigns pulled out of WrestleMania. What do you think of that?
I think it was a good move on Roman's part. He did what he needed to do for his family. He literally just beat leukemia, 2 years ago? A year ago? He came back from leukemia a year ago. Like a couple months to this time or whatever like that. I think it was a good move by him. You gotta put his health first. Like obviously he waited out some time because he's the top guy in the company. He's a company dude and he wanted to do what is right for the company. But at some point you gotta put yourself first. You got a family, you got a wife, you got 2 kids. Like I'm pretty sure it would be less worrisome on his mind. Like if he just was home with them instead of coming back and then worrying, well, do I have this thing? Do I have this virus? And like, and it's worth like it's a risk on him because his immune system is not as strong. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's a good move by Roman. Like if you seriously showing him any negative energy because he decided, hey, I want to live, like, and I don't want to
Yeah,
get sick. Like I think you need to go off somewhere. Like, is this?
give your
Yeah.
head a wobble.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so good on Roman, man. Like that's good for him. I'm happy for him. Like he did his right thing, and I'm pretty like we all know they found a replacement in Braun Strowman. I'm hoping that they. I don't know how I feel about him being Universal Champion after him losing 5 Universal title matches in the span of a year. But
Yeah.
it's whatever.
See, I my only negative thing about Roman pulling out of WrestleMania is that WWE should have taped a shitload of content weeks ago, and they could have recorded Goldberg versus Roman Reigns when they did the contract
Jack
signing, and they
signing,
had them
yeah,
both there for SmackDown. They could have recorded a 20-minute match, for God's sake. And I just think that Vince McMahon is so out of touch, so like just in his own little bubble in every way. Like not just creatively in terms of the product that they regularly put out, um, which we'll get onto actually in a minute because I want to talk about how good the promos have been since they've had to give them a bit more freedom and it's not been as scripted. But um, yeah, Goldberg and Roman Reigns could have already been in the can 2 weeks before Roman Reigns was put in a position where he needed to make a decision for his family. And I believe I read somewhere that one of the reasons he ended up making that decision was that the Miz was sick, or
yeah,
he
yeah. I
came to
read
the
that in
performance center sick.
read that in the Observer. I think that's what that was. He said Miz came in there and like he knew he was sick, and like I guess him and the Usos like not like get in his face, but like like a stern what the hell are you doing type thing, like you sick, like why are you here type thing,
Yeah,
like and not in a mean way, just like you putting everybody else at risk, and and I know it was also I think it was also reported in the Observer that that nobody in WWE has the coronavirus right now. Like I don't know like if I would you know, I'm like I'm not too big on banking in on reports from people's health because you just
yeah,
never.
yeah, of course.
It's like I think it's like legitimately impossible to report on somebody's health unless that person comes out and says
Confirms
it.
it, yeah. But
Yeah,
then
confirms it.
on the Observer Radio this week, or whichever one is with Dave and uh, Brian, they also said they speculated quite heavily that they think that Andrade
Mm.
hasn't got a rib injury and has got it because he had a match with Rey Mysterio, and Rey Mysterio is now self isolating.
Okay.
So whilst they might not be reporting it, they're openly talking about the fact that the Miz was sick, and um, they thought Andrade and Rey Mysterio have got it, and this, that, and the other. Um, yeah, I just think WWE have been real slow to get their shit together in terms of recording stuff. They could have had when they had John Cena there for that SmackDown, when he did he do a contract signing with the Fiend? Yeah, it was or they did a promo, didn't they, to
Yeah,
close the show?
promo
When
thing.
he was there for that day, they could have recorded an hour's worth of segments with Bray Wyatt, which would have had meant they could have had John Cena on the show for 5 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever. Of they just don't think ahead. Um, and I just think that it's going to hurt them in the long run because it doesn't look like this lockdown and this thing is going away anytime soon. And if anything, it looks like it's getting a bit stricter in some parts of the United States.
Yeah, we
Um,
I think you and I yeah, we were talking about it off air, talking about how I think it was PW Torch. They reported that that AEW completed some television tapings in Norcross, Georgia, where they did the April 2nd episode of Dynamite, and they taped, if not weeks, then months of content, like to fill the complete 2 hours of TV. And then they already taped some matches when they taped a bunch of matches when they were at Daly's place, so they can fill up like and just go back and forth between storylines and contents and whatnot. Like the John Moxley Jake Hager match is already done. The matches to set up the TNT title tournament, those are done. And the only thing left to do out of that is, for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, and we don't know if that's going to take place, but at least it's done. Like the
yeah,
tournament is done. Like so, like they doing it they did it the smart way. I kind of wish WWE would have followed suit with that and just loaded, like just load, like bro, like I'm talking about like the first day that y'all did those performance center shows, that probably would have been my mindset. Like, let's just tape
Get
like
stuff done.
everything, like tape WrestleMania, tape the Raw after WrestleMania, like tape the lead up to Money in the Bank, like tape everything, like and like it, like that would have been my mindset right there. Let like after WrestleMania, let's tape everything leading up to Money in the Bank, and if Money in the Bank happens, then if Money in the Bank doesn't happen, then it ain't nothing we can do from that point. Like it is what it is. But like if you just tape everything going into that your next pay per view, then you good. You ain't got nothing to worry about. You literally got nothing to worry about. But like, that's all. That's also a product of me and you. Like the same thing we talking about off air. Like it's no secret that people in AEW, even Tony Khan himself, it came out and said AEW had storylines mapped out like 6 months in advance, so they already knew what they were going to do. Like regardless of what was going to happen, they knew what was the direction. And with WWE, we had weekly. It's like a shifting thing. Like it's like they sometimes stuff is locked in, sometimes it gets changed on the day of. But like I think in this scenario, like I think the main important thing is just taping it all the way through. Like I said before, tape all the way to Money in the Bank, and just if Money in the Bank doesn't happen because of the coronavirus, then it ain't nothing you tried. Like it's nothing you can do from that point. But at least you got content to hold you over for the next month, because what Orlando shutting down for the next 30 days. Like that's for essential stuff, and I don't know what WWE falls into that. As far as people going to the performance center to do their stuff. But Orlando shutting, the whole state of Florida shutting down, and the same thing happened with AEW. I think Georgia's about to shut down, but they already taped everything. So like,
Yeah, I know NXT have taped like a
yeah,
load of the takeover matches, haven't they?
NXT did well. They did well.
But surprise, surprise, Triple H has got his finger on the pulse a bit more than
Vinny McAttack.
Yeah, but there we go. What do you think of Austin Theory being the one called up to replace Andrade? I thought that was quite an interesting choice.
I ain't really think much of it. I just thought like Austin Theory was probably somebody that was there, and he was just like, "Hey, you want to be on the, you want to be on the show?
You want to be on WrestleMania?"
Like it was just like, okay,
shot.
Exactly. Like it's just your shot right here. I ain't really think too much of it. It's good to see Austin Theory, though.
But I would have rather seen. I would have rather have seen him shoot an angle where they were having some sort of altercation between the Street Profits and Angel Garza, and have Humberto Carrillo turn and do what we said, I think, on the last show, where you have Garza, Carrillo, and Andrade as a trio. I think that could be electric.
Man, you want to know what I wanted? I wanted the 4-way ladder match at WrestleMania. I wanted Humberto, Ray, Andrade, and Angel Garza. That was what I wanted, but we're not getting it, and it saddens me because I know that match was gonna bang.
Yeah, it's a weird one, isn't it? What have you made of the TV since they've been doing it in the in the Performance Center and AEW in the just in front of no crowds?
For WWE, I feel like the promos are like so much better. Like I don't know why that's so different. Like even when, I remember when Roman did the sit down interview a couple weeks ago, I was looking at it, I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I was like, by the end of it, I was like, damn, that was good. I was like, that's a good promo right there. Like, and even with the one John Cena did, and the one that Bray Wyatt did, and the one that's the one that I really remember is the one that Seth Rollins cut. I think it was, I think it was last week. The one he did, or this past Monday, the one that he did on Kevin Owens. I really like that promo like a lot, and I don't know why. I just feel like when they don't have the the what and all that stuff in the background, like I think it's just you really hear what they're saying, and it hits different when you like truly paying attention. So I think the promos on WWE side have been better. I think AEW, like they just been AEW, like doing what they do, and I think by adding the crowd, like adding the wrestlers in the crowd and having them chant and stuff like that, I think that's been a good thing as well.
Thank you. Yeah, it's weird. I just think part of the reason the promos are better is I think they feel less less scripted, but also it's not the same kind of the same angles or like same process where it's either the wrestler comes out into the ring, does a promo, oh, I hate this guy because he's done this to me and this and this and this, and it's really kind of like just scripted and unreal. Whereas they're doing them from the stage, they haven't got interviewers necessarily asking them questions. They're talking into the camera, which they don't do because they don't want them. They always want their people to be talking to the live audience rather than to the people at home, which I think takes away from it because then they don't feel like they're having a real, like they're speaking like themselves. They're speaking like they're memorizing a script. However, the one thing I'd say about Roman Reigns is he did a really good sit-down interview with Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar a few years ago when they all got snowed in. He did a sit-down interview with Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman, and he did that really well. He's always good when he's kind of like himself and not trying to be what Vince McMahon sees him as.
But like honestly, when you look at like Roman, like from the interviews he does, he seemed like the coolest dude. Like I don't know why they just don't let him be that. Well, he is that like for the most part now. Like since he came back from leukemia, that's exactly what he's been is himself. But like I see what you're talking about now.
Yeah, they I think all the promos, but there was one from who was it? Naomi, where I think sometimes she struggles to. Sometimes she sounds a bit like she's
Scripted,
like memorizing a script.
but
But it wasn't just her. It was Bailey, Sasha, Naomi, Lacey Evans. All sounded like they were just either remembered a script or falling, but like Lacey Evans was very much falling back on, oh, you're nasties and this and that. And then Tamina came out and like beat them all up or whatever. But that was
you wanna know what's crazy? Naomi said during the interview that she said that's one of the things that she really wanted to work on was her promos because she said she never felt like that was like her strong suit, and she always wanted to get better at that and like be more of herself and not necessarily like more so getting bullet points instead of like having people tell her what to say.
Yeah,
and like letting her get to those bullet points like in a way that she was saying in real life like that. She said that during the interview. So that's like it's crazy that you mentioned that.
yeah. It's just weird though because like ultimately now's all these wrestlers have got an opportunity to show Vince that look, we can do promos if you just let us do promos the way we can. Like some of them will be good at scripted promos, some of them will be good at just doing it off the cuff as themselves. Some of them will be good at doing bullet points. Some of them will be good at just going out there, telling them the gist of what you want them to say, and letting them say, just telling them they've got 5 minutes or whatever. They're all going to be different because people are different. So why wouldn't you adapt to each person? So maybe, I don't know, let's pluck a name off my screen. Maybe AJ Styles needs a script to feel comfortable, but then maybe Bray Wyatt can just go out there with a mic and hit the points you need him to hit. Maybe Shayna Baszler needs bullet points. Why can't all three of those people do their promos like that? There's no reason why not, other than Vince McMahon wants complete control over every single little word that's said, and I think the characters suffer because of that.
Did you did you get the chance to hear Brody Lee's interview with Chris Jericho?
I haven't yet. I've got to get around to it because I've heard it's a good one.
Buddy, that was something. That was something right there. Like
did he hold back?
Oh hell no! Nah. He told the whole nine. Like one of the crazy, like not to get too much into it because we got other stuff to talk about. But like one of the things he mentioned, he was like, what did he say? He said that he tried like that whole time when he was sitting on the sideline. He tried so hard, like so many times, to try to get Vince to like hear him out on some ideas, and it wasn't until he made it clear that he was requesting his release that Vince McMahon decided to reach out to him and tried to have like a 20-minute conversation, like on different occasions with him, and like basically trying to like, what do you want? You want to push? What you want? More money? Like, I'm like, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, dude, you wait until this dude decided to request his release for you to
Before
hear
you
him
give him
out,
any time. Yeah.
and now that he want to leave, you want to sit on the phone for 20 minutes. Like what? Like, come on, like
Stupid.
there's no like, I'm like, bro, come on now, like really. And then another one was, and this just shows you like how this dude is as a person. But you remember when Luke Harper came back at Clash of Champions in 2019 when he did the whole thing with we came back with Eric Rowan and they beat up Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
Guess who called Luke Harper back to get him back into TV, get him back on TV?
No.
Mr. Daniel Bryan himself called him and said, I want you to be in this storyline. I want you to come back to TV. And lo and behold, that Clash of Champions, Luke Harper was back because of Daniel Bryan.
That's mad, isn't it? That's
Top
crazy.
top man right there.
Yeah.
Top
Did
man.
he say anything about Bray Wyatt?
Not directly. He never like directly spoke about Bray, but he did say that like he did get tired of like always being the background man. Like
Yeah.
he was never a fan of that. Like he enjoyed his time with the group. Like he never said he didn't, but he was just never a fan of like always being in the background because he knew what he could do. Like he was like and he talked about that time during WrestleMania 33 when everybody thought he was going to be in that title match with Bray and Randy, and he was like, he didn't say it directly, but you could tell about it from what he was saying. He knew he should have been in that match, like he
Of course
knew,
he should have.
but like they ain't put him in there. And one thing he did say was that they was fascinating that they was talking about like him and Jericho. They talked about like never trying to pitch an idea to Vince while he's eating, like ever, because he was like he went in there one time and he tried to like pitch this idea to Vince, and Vince was eating a salad, and all Vince kept talking about was the dressing on the salad. Like that's all he kept talking about. And Jericho said the same thing. He went in there and tried to talk to Vince while Vince was eating a steak, and Vince was like, "This is a bad cow." Like, and he like completely ignored everything Jericho said. Like I'm like Vince McMahon is like, so he sounds like the most interesting like human being, bro. Like I'm curious of like what goes on through this man's mind on a daily. Like
Yeah, he's a proper complex human being, isn't he? And
like you got this dude coming to pitch you ideas, and all you worried about is this damn salad. Like
it's crazy, man. Do you know what they should do? Is if they can't record any shit like at all, is they should just do like a podcast or like
shoot interviews, brother.
Shoot interviews with all the different people. And
what's the name? They kind of got. Well, I think after the Bills sort of toed the line with that, but we gonna see. I mean, they had John Cena on there. John Cena was like really open. Like so that was cool to see. Like John Cena, if you got a chance to go listen to that, he ain't hold back at all. So that was cool. Like he bet one of the things he basically said was that he don't think WWE has a front man anymore, like somebody that's like head and shoulders above the rest. He think like everybody, like all the top guys are like the same. Like as far as like popularity, like he said Roman, Seth, Braun, like New Day, people like that, Sheamus, like they're all on, like all top guys, but they're all on the same level. Like nobody is head and shoulders above the rest. And he also made fun of his loud spat calling, which is funny. Like he talked like you could hear him in the ring calling spats. And he was like, he just made fun of it. It was hilarious. But yes,
excellent. I'm definitely gonna catch that 100%. So before we move on to the card, I was interested to see that obviously with WrestleMania now they normally do all these interviews, where they do a week of just promotion of WrestleMania normally, where they have people get interviews. And I was going to ask you, it must be frustrating for you and all the kind of wrestling journalists, because this is the perfect opportunity for them to just set up video calls and video interviews and just have talent, give like people like yourself like 10, 15 minutes or whatever, it's nothing in terms of the grand scheme of things. And you're promoting their show, which they need promotion because there's no fans there. So, there's going to be a portion of the audience who aren't going to watch because there's no fans there and they haven't enjoyed these shows where there's no crowd. So you want to promote it as best you can. And the best way to do that is through wrestling sites and combat sports sites. But they're very begrudging in letting wrestling sites do interviews. They seem to be actually more accommodating to people like my friend Alex McCarthy, who's actually coming on for a show next week, who obviously works with Talksport in the UK, than they would be with people like yourself or with Fightful or with even Wrestling Observer or people like this who are based in the United States in the same time zone.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever, I gotta be honest. And I say that, as I say that, I've had a notification to see that Sean Ross Sapp has just interviewed Kofi Kingston. But there we go. Which is kind of ironic that would happen as I was speaking, but there we go. What do you think about that? Why do you think they're so difficult about these interviews and with wrestling sites?
I just think it has more to do with WWE, like how they how they how the, how the company sees itself as far as like status wise. Like you don't want to be. It's like when you're that popular person, you don't want to be seen with the less than. Like you want to be seen with other
Yeah.
popular people, like and like that. That's why you morely see their talents like doing interviews with like GQ or USA Today or Sports Illustrated or sites
Or
like that.
Forbes and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
Forbes and stuff. Yeah, because it's like But
ESPN.
I don't see the negative in them doing interviews with sites that cover wrestling news. Like I mean, what like I like what would be stopping the people who do the interviews from asking the same stuff that we would ask? Like I'm pretty sure with us being in the news cycle more, like we know more stuff than the common person who's doing an interview with a wrestler, but like they could literally ask the same thing that we would ask. So, I mean, I never understood it, but I'm glad to see like I see more sites getting interviews like with WWE wrestling, like 401 Mania and Fightful. I see them doing interviews with WWE wrestlers. So I mean, it's cool to see. Like I'm glad that they're starting to like ease up on it. But like I know WWE can be real iffy. Like sometimes like they'll give you an interview with the talent and then like you try to ask again and they like completely ignore you. Like, but
Yeah, they did like last year at Toronto. Was it? I think it was SummerSlam, or it might have even been WrestleMania. I can't remember. There was a big one of the big shows at Toronto last year. They had a load of wrestling media go in, including some guys from Fightful. There was a lot of like proper wrestling media there, and then, like Sean said on his podcast for Fightful, that since then they pretty much ignore him when he asks for interviews and content, and it's like such strange behavior. But I don't know. I just wanted to get your take on that because
that's why I
I
just
find
do
it peculiar.
interviews with like people from MLW, Ring of Honor, New Japan, like independent wrestlers that people really haven't heard of like that. Like that's why I just do my own thing, man. Like,
Yeah,
and I
that's
mean,
the best thing.
like I can't sit around and like wait for WWE because I mean, it's like they're not the only. I mean, trust me, I would love to do an interview with anybody from WWE. Honestly, I think that would be cool. Like one person who I really actually really want to interview is Cedric Alexander. Like I legit really want to interview him. So like, trust me, I'm not one of those people that's saying like, oh, I don't care. Like I would love to do an interview with anybody from WWE, but like that's like they not like really locked in on the wrestling media like that. So like I'm gonna just go with whoever allows me to do interview. Like even remember when I did the interviews with Ring of Honor when I went to their PR people at the show in Baltimore. Like it's so accessible, bro. Like
Yeah,
they the PR person, they like, yeah, come through. We doing it this time, this day, come through. And like it was like literally that simple. And next thing you know, I'm interviewing Session Mark Martin and PJ Black and Joe Hendry and all these. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like
yeah, man.
it like so, I don't get it, but I mean, I kind of understand it in a way from a business standpoint, but like, I mean, what do you lose from promotion?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, does it? In terms of just get as many people as you can watching your shows and your things, but again, they
They
are
friendly as hell with
strange.
the international media though.
Yeah,
They
they
play
are.
nice.
They're
They
real
play nice.
accommodating to the UK media, really accommodating, which is really strange to me. Like,
No, I kind of understand that from a business perspective as well. Like, I mean, like, I wish they would be like that with us, but I understand it from a business perspective as well, because it's like you want to continue to expand WWE outside of where they're based out of, which is America. Like, you want to grow, like, continue to grow, like, the company. But you know, it is what it is. But
yeah,
it also doesn't look like since we talking about the UK, it don't look like Takeover Dublin gonna be happening, man. I think they already postponed it.
I'm not sure if they. Oh, shit! Sorry, mate. Fucking sorry. My
I think they already postponed Takeover Dublin. They already did it.
Yeah, man. It wouldn't surprise me. There's no way it's going to be on. When was it supposed to be? What date?
17th.
Yeah, there's no way. No way they can have that on unless no, there's just no way with the travel as well. Even with um, even if they did it with no fans, there's the travel for a lot of the people. Even though it's a NXT UK show, there was a lot of people based in America who would have been coming over for it.
How far are you away from Dublin?
It's like very short flight, less than an hour,
Okay.
or about an hour
Okay.
flight or something. It's I think, yeah, even with no fans, I think it would have been difficult for the venue to do it, and I don't think they would have been allowed to do it. In fact, um, so yeah, I they'll have to just move it to
That was a good
another.
that was a good discussion about wrestling media. I actually enjoyed that. That was good.
Good man, yeah, it's good. I wanted I find it fascinating that they don't play nice. Not saying that they have to give interviews to everyone who calls themselves like a wrestling journalist or a wrestling media, but
All
like
right.
you can pick and choose who you give interviews to, and you can give interviews to reputable people. It's easy to work out who's reputable and who's not. It takes about 10 minutes. That's just my opinion.
It's-
You know,
yeah, man.
it doesn't take long to work out who's trustworthy, who's reputable, who's out there for the just clicks, and and those people who are out there for clicks, they're the ones who are going to abuse the opportunity by asking inappropriate questions
Yeah,
or
that,
questions which they shouldn't be asking.
that's definitely one thing I get. Like some people don't know how to like you like nobody saying that you can't ask what you want to ask, but like if you know how they are already with like that this wrestling media that we're in, like you should know like what stuff you can't like don't be hopping on the phone talking about when's your contract up, like come on bro,
Yeah.
like don't ask no stupid shit like that.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Just
it's not like they gonna tell you anyway, like
no. It's like stick to the stuff, that content that you can use for your
like
channels.
people
And
think that when you interview WWE wrestlers, like the only thing you can talk about is WWE. Like, bro, you can talk about their past. They wrestled outside of the company. You can ask about when they worked in Ring of Honor or New Japan. Like, bro, AJ Styles talks about New Japan all the damn time. Like,
yeah,
goes in depth about it. Like, you can talk about other stuff. Like, don't get on the phone and be like, hey, when your contract in, or what does creative have for you? Like, come on now.
yeah, don't be a dick, basically. No, this is what it comes down to. Okay, let's preview WrestleMania. We'll do predictions as we go along, and
Let's
we'll
do it, Jack.
talk a bit about each match. So first up, Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. We talked about this a little bit at the start about how we think it might suffer a bit because of the lack of crowd. First, who do you think is going to win?
Because there's no crowd there, Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think some of these matches where the winner was probably quite telegraphed with the crowd, I actually think now they might hold off on some of the whether it's title changes or victories. I just think the only reason this match is happening, the only reason that Otis has got a singles match at WrestleMania is because the angle with Mandy got over with the crowd and the audience. I wonder, did they need to still go ahead with this match, really? I don't know, maybe not. But
I think they could have done without this match on this WrestleMania, because like the reason I'm saying that is because the crowd was
such a big part of it.
It is such a you know.
Such a big part of the whole thing. Whether it's whether you have like a Sonya do some sort of turn, or whether you have Mandy turn babyface and help Otis, or whatever direction they take it, it loses a lot with no crowd, so it's difficult. Yeah, I agree. I think Dolph Ziggler will probably win. I wonder whether they might do an angle where Mandy tries to either help Otis or like just check if he's okay, and then that causes Dolph to win. Like maybe Otis gets hurt, she kind of goes over to check on him. He does the whole angle where he thinks it's Dolph and lashed, like moved, like flails his arm out or something, hurts her, or she falls off the apron or something, and then he's kind of checking on her, and then Dolph, hits him from behind and wins, just to drag drag the angle out a bit until they can get crowds. But I don't know about what you think about
that. I mean, I pretty much agree with you. What you said on the match in general. Like, I feel like it's going to suffer because the crowd was going to be such a big part of that. Like, I'm pretty sure they probably going to pop for everything that was going to happen during that match. So now you don't have that. So it's going to be interesting to see like what bells and whistles they going to pull out. I'm pretty sure Mandy Rose is going to be one of those. Maybe Sonya Deville. Maybe Tucker gets involved. Hell, maybe Tucker turns on Otis. Yeah, hey, you never know. Maybe Tucker's the one who sent that text. And
now that would make me interested, is if Tucker became Dolph Ziggler's Diesel. That would make me interested in this match, because at the moment I really don't care about it without a crowd, and a Tucker heel turn would be so unexpected that I think that would make me more interested, at least. Good shout, my son. What else we got? Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. This just seems so random.
It is. It is. So random.
I just don't really get it. Like, I really, really like Aleister Black, and I just can't really understand why they're doing this match. Who's the US champion at the moment?
Andrade.
I wonder whether he would have maybe fought. Oh no, he was in the tag match, wasn't he? So yeah, I would be quite happy to see Aleister Black knock Bobby Lashley out in seconds, to be honest. But I don't think they'll do that, Big Bobby.
We not Bobby Lashley slandering after they had this black man groping all over this white woman for the past 5 or 6 months. We not slandering this brother on this podcast. my man out here getting death threats, people calling him the N-word. Like, come, bro,
give him a good match. I bet you though, you could give him 15 minutes and they could put on an awesome match.
Oh yeah, Alistair Black should win the match. Like that's what I think. But like, yeah, we not gonna slander brother Bobby on this podcast, man. We we that's one thing we not gonna do. So
No,
we not
absolutely
gonna
not.
job out brother Bobby, man. They already
Especially
jobbed out.
after they,
They already
after
jobbed
they,
out Leon Ruff on Raw. The
yeah,
young Leon Ruff from Evolve.
yeah, he was done. Is he the? Was he the one?
That was the
Is he
one
the
this
one
past Monday.
this past Monday?
The one when he got hit and he like completely dropped to the ground like immediately.
Yeah, there was two enhancement matches which Alistair Black's had last 2 weeks. The selling of the Black
The
Mass
Black,
has been
I love it,
so
bro.
good,
I love it.
so good.
It's like a competition now. Who can sell it the best?
Yeah, it is. But I would not be surprised if this was a bit of a sleeper match. If it was in Impact, if it was in Ring of Honor, AEW, any other company in the world, I think I would look at this match and I would think this could be, this could steal the show.
Mm.
But in the WWE, I just don't see them getting the opportunity to do it. But you just don't know. With it, again, with it being recorded, you just don't know what they'll come up with. And quite often, WWE has, when their back's been against the wall, that's when their content has been better. So, hopefully I like both guys. So I hope for something good from this match. But in my head, I've already given up on it, if that makes sense. Because I think partially because it's kind of just randomly thrown together with they haven't had any interaction whatsoever.
Yeah.
They haven't spoken, they haven't had one promo, nothing, is there?
I think Alistair Black, he is about to be the launch to the mixed tag match at SummerSlam. Alistair and Zelina versus Bobby and Lana.
Oh, Jesus, no, please God, no. Did Rusev sign a new contract after Lana did?
I have not heard anything about Rusev. The last I heard was that he has not resigned. But we don't know. It was a troll on Twitter, so I don't really think anybody truly knows what he's done, and I don't think nobody ever will until he confirms it or denies it, or WWE confirms or denies, or they give him the boot, and we're gonna see.
One of the biggest wastes they've ever had.
Bro, I've been saying this for so long, but do you remember when him and Aiden English faced Chad Gable, Shelton Benjamin, New Day, and somebody else at Clash of Champions 2017? I think it was in Boston. And bro, that was the loudest Rusev Day chant, pop, everything. I'm like, why didn't y'all put the SmackDown tag titles on English and Rusev? Like, that was perfect. Nobody's saying he had to be world champion, but you should have put it was Clash of Champions 2016. That should have happened. They should have put the titles on them.
Well, they should have not only put the titles on those two, but they should have had Lana with them, kept them babyface, and just had them be these super baby faces. So they were super over. And then eventually, a year down the line, if they had done a year-long run of being super baby faces, and then you have either Aiden English turn or you have Rusev turn and go back to being like a killer heel Rusev, people would have cared because people would have cheered the babyface and hated the heel because they were so super over. And by the way, Rusev by now should have been at least WWE champion.
But you want to know it kind of backs that trope that's about WWE, that if it's not something they plan to get over, it's not gonna work out for you. Like,
yeah,
we've seen that with Zack Ryder because he was over as hell.
Sami Zayn.
I don't really think Sami Zayn was like super old, but
he has got over at times.
Yeah, he got over at times. But Rusev was over. Like,
oh yeah, God, yeah. Braun Strowman.
People would have bought in for him being. You remember when he faced AJ Styles at Extreme Rules for the WWE title? in the main event, bro. People thought that was like I remember that match when AJ came off the top for the phenomenal forearm and Rusev gave him the Moshka kick. I was like, oh my God, they about to do it. And they hit the 1, 2, and AJ hit the near fall. Like, and this is the thing I liked about it. I think AJ, he didn't have his eyes open. So
Yeah.
you're not usually when they got their eyes open, you probably know 9 times they about to kick out. But AJ, he didn't have his eyes open. And I was like, bro, they really about to put the world title on Rusev. And then of course he ended up tapping out. I was like, come on, man. Come on, man. Like come on now. But I mean, it's Rusev definitely was a waste of one. Like I know people say like, oh, I mean, was he? He was United States champion. I'm like, bro, like he could have been WWE champion, literally, could have been WWE champion. Should have been a tag team champion. With I legit give no WWE no pull leeway for not putting the tag titles on Rusev and English.
Yeah.
Like how did you not capitalize on that like at all? Like soon as I heard that Rusev reaction, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's what we had it. Like I'm not saying you got to put the titles on them instantly, but that would have been my end goal was to have them win the tag titles.
Absolutely, mate. And the thing is, as well, it's like they've done it with Braun Strowman. They did it with Becky over the years. All right, now they've kind of gone back and fixed the Becky thing. They've Sasha, Bailey, all these people who've Oscar at some point have been super over, and they've just dropped the ball. And I'm not saying that all these people should have been like the top champions, but they should have got a push. Even Elias at one point last year was super.
Goodness.
He was over. Why didn't they do anything with him?
I was just thinking about this the other day. I like this. This is so random that you mentioned this, but like I was just thinking about that the other day. Bro, do you remember when Elias faced Seth Rollins for the IC title at Money in the Bank in 2018?
I don't off the top of my head. He'll probably come back to me now.
He was over. They should have took the title off of Seth right there and then just moved him up to the Universal title picture immediately instead of waiting till the Royal Rumble. Like that would have been perfect. Like and Seth was having a hell of a run as IC champion. Like don't get me, he was the man.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins was the man in WWE in 2018. Like nothing but bangers. Nothing but bangers. Kudos to him. But I think Elias should have beat him.
But it's not just about like babyface heat as well. Like remember when Elias had that where was it? I think it was in Canada somewhere when he did the promo and people were going crazy. And it's like, they never built on that. They just tried to.
I ain't gonna lie to you. It's not the same. It's like now. Like it still get reaction, but now it's like you've seen it so much.
Been the same, is it? Yeah, and there's it's not there's so many names where they've dropped the ball. So speaking of Elias, then we'll use that as a link. The next match is who do you think is going to win between Aleister Black and Bobby Lashley?
Aleister Black.
Okay, same here. Next, King Corbin versus Elias, which is just pre-show. It's all about the pre-show, bro. I don't even particularly want to talk about this match as I'm so underwhelmed by it. But we will talk about it. And because, again, I'll say it, because it's recorded, you just don't know. You don't know what it could potentially be.
Oh yeah, I think Corbin gonna win.
Yeah, I do too. I wish they'd just drop the King gimmick.
And I like it. I like it because he like literally annoys people, and that's what I like. He's a nuisance like on screen, and like I know people legit hate Corbin, and like I know like the thing I like about him is like he's one of those like annoying heels. And like you don't really have those much in wrestling anymore. Like I know people say MJF, but MJF got a result to like fucking talking about handicapped people and shit on Twitter. Like I'm just not. That ain't my thing. Like I don't like you like, legit talking shit about people that's like in wheelchairs and like what I'm saying. Like I ain't in all that. Like that ain't my like I can some of it to a certain extent, but like sometimes I'm like, all right, Brad, like you doing too much now. That's why I like Corbin better, because Corbin, like, people just hate him just because he's Corbin. So it's like, I kind of enjoy his thing more, and the King thing makes people irritated even more. And then he always end up in the same fuse over and over, and like he boast about it, like, keep crying and all. Like, I kind of like Corbin more. So that's kind of
I see.
my
My one thing about it is, what annoys me about it is he's capable of so much better. He is capable of being really good. And I just wonder.
Bank and won the title.
Well, yeah, that would have been exceptional, wouldn't it? That could have been so good, and
let me tell
they dropped the ball so many times.
Let me tell you something, Side. There is no heel in this industry better than Jay White. I'm gonna tell you that right now. The switchblade is the man.
I I disagree.
What?
Do you know why? Because I'm an AJ Styles mark.
You want to know who's the real heel? The real heel, ACEcast Nation. That's the real
Yeah,
heel.
baby. The biggest heel of them all. I tell you one thing. No, you are right. Jay White is about as good as it gets in terms of heel work. I don't know, mate. King Corbin, he's capable. He's got the ring work. He's got everything which could be amazing. And I just sometimes feel like they don't let him do enough. And I just think his promos are so often the same.
Yeah.
And I just, come on, like, I just want them to be a little bit more creative with the things they come up with, whether it's ring work or promos or just everything. I just feel like they phone it in too much. Not the talent, the people who write the shows. I feel like they phone it in too much. But it is what it is. I guess
it is what it is.
Yeah, it's one of them things, brother. Next up, sorry, I didn't mean to clap into the microphone then. Women's Tag Team Championship match: the Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross. This would have been a triple threat if there was fans, with Natalia and
the Glamazon.
That's the one. Yeah,
dog. I wish Natalia and Beth Phoenix was in this match, because I'm pretty sure they won't win. I wanted to see Beth and Natty the tag titles. That'd have been cool right there. Natalia is literally like the head honcho in the women's locker room.
Bro, like, sorry to interrupt you. If the Kabuki Warriors lose this match, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah,
more than I did when Goldberg beat Bray Wyatt, because there's no need to take the title off him in this current climate. There's no reason for it. You're not going to get the pop.
Yeah, you're right.
What's the point?
You're right.
Come on now.
I mean, it is no point in taking the titles off him. Like, I don't really see it. I mean, because like you get no title. Like, the only time I see like them taking the title off him, like, if like you said, if it was a crowd, and then you could have like, because it is no question Alexa Bliss is great on the mic. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's more thing like that. That's one thing that they value in her, is her mic skills. And her ability.
Yeah.
Like, y'all not gonna be in front of a crowd for a long time. So like, just keep the titles on the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah, there is no need whatsoever to change the titles here. And even I would say that even if Beth Phoenix and Natalia were there, I would keep it on the Kabuki Warriors. And it's not like keeping it on the Kabuki Warriors is going to upset people, because people like them anyway.
Right.
And look, there's no need. It's just pointless. This should be quite a good match, especially because it's recorded as well. Again, in fairness, every single match on this show should be good, because it's going to be edited and recorded and this, that, and the other. So there's no excuse for any of these matches to be terrible. Will they be terrible? That remains to be seen, because it takes. Oh, let me ask you a quick question. You know, on AEW this past Wednesday,
Yeah.
did you enjoy, or at any point get a bit bored with the Kenny Omega versus Trent Beretta match?
I mean, I thought it was a good match. Like I wasn't like super duper invested. It was a good match though. I always like watching Kenny Omega and Trent. They always have good match. I think they had a match at the Destruction Tour in 2017. Like that was probably the best match I ever seen Trent in. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's the best match of his career, like ever. Like that match against Kenny Omega on New Japan's Destruction Tour. But they got good. They work real well together. Like it wasn't like I was like super duper invested in the match, but that was because I was getting like some writing done. But like I think it was a good match for the stuff I saw. But
Yeah,
I
don't get
was
me
in and
wrong.
out.
It was technically fantastic. It was enjoyable. I didn't get bored as such, but without the crowd, um, you can't.
Did they have
It's a
people in?
different. Yeah, they did have people in the ringside and stuff, and that does make a difference. But it's still not the same. And without that, it is very, very difficult to keep.
The attention span. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it is hard.
I'm the
And
same way.
you've got to do something different, and that's why when I look at this card, the the matches I'm kind of looking most forward to are the matches that are outside the arena, the Edge and Randy Orton match, the ladder match, those kind of matches which are completely, completely different,
They
completely
don't
just.
need a crowd.
Yeah. You can make something exciting out of it without, uh, I don't know what the word is, without having to rely on crowd reactions, I guess. Um, so do we both agree that Kabuki Warriors should win this? Do we think they will win this?
No, I think Alexa Bliss and Nikki gonna win, but I do think the Kabuki Warriors should retain.
Yeah,
Because I think WWE views Oscar and Kyrie as heels.
yeah, which is
So,
comical.
so
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I have a nasty feeling. I also think, yeah, I agree with you that they think the Kabuki Warriors as heels, and I also think that they are going to try and what they view as sending as many people home happy, if you get me, for each match,
Oh yeah.
because there's no
These
crowd
faces
and
going
because the.
over, brother.
Yeah, I do think it's going to be that a lot, and particularly because, as we'll talk about in a minute, I think in some of the big the main or the top matches, I think the heels might win. I think you might see a lot of baby faces winning on the bottom of the card. Just my opinion, though, obviously. Um, Raw Tag Team Championships, Street Profits versus Angel Garza and Austin Theory.
Street Profits for sure. I saw if they take the titles off, dogs. I'm telling you.
You
I
know
don't
they're
know what
doing
I
it,
don't know
bro.
what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something.
Stamp your feet. That's
Uh,
what you're gonna do. Go stamp
but,
your feet.
but yeah, the
No, mate.
Street Profits should definitely win this. I legit see no reason why
Yeah,
they
it's
would
too
get the title
soon.
taken off them.
The only reason, and even this, I'm not really convinced that it's a
Don't
good
even say it.
reason,
Don't even say it.
is if they're going to give Austin Theory this massive push,
Ugh.
because I have read a couple of places say that he is kind of like really, really highly thought of. So if he's going to get the rocket pack to him, then I would argue that if they had him win this tag team title, and then you have him, Garza and Andrade as a trio, and they do
All the gold thing.
and they do like a freebird rule with the tag titles, so, and he eventually, and they kind of swap it over, where maybe at some point Andrade loses the title, and then they make Andrade and Garza the tag team, and Austin Theory the
You want to know what
thing.
interesting?
I don't think they should do that because
They
I think that on this time next year, I want to see Andrade as the Universal or the WWE champion.
like I think one thing that they should like if they are gonna just for conversation's sake if they are going to go all the way with Austin Theory away to turn him into somewhat of a baby face is to have him win the tag titles with Angel Garza and then
Mm-hmm.
Andrade come back to the fold and like you said they do the free bird rule and like an easy way to do it would be like you keep saying Andrade teaming with Angel Garza in these tag matches for the tag titles
Yeah,
instead of Theory, and then like like causes some dissension between the two, and then you eventually do the split, and like it's basically like
I'd be. I
we used you to get the tag title, so because I couldn't do it, so now
yeah,
that we
man.
got him, there's no use for you.
Yeah, man. I'm all about the Austin Theory versus Andrade match. That would be incredible. I would love to see that match. I'm a big fan of Austin Theory. I don't think he's ready, by the way, to have the Rocket Pack yet, but I do think that he's the kind of guy that they like. And by the way, I got Rob Wilkins design me some photoshops uh, for for the thumbnail for this show and one for next week as well.
Shout out to Rob, man. That's a good
Yeah,
dude
yeah,
right there.
cool dude.
That's a good dude.
So we've got one, which is Coco Beware and Owen Hart as a tag team, which is pretty awesome. And then we've got another one, which is me and you as the two guys, Mel Gibson and Danny Glover from Lethal Weapon, with the Fiend stood behind us, which is really good.
Yeah,
Um,
let's go with that one because I don't know about that Coco B wearing or Howard. That's a little racial right there. I don't know about that one. I love you, Rob. Still love you, bro. But we can go with the lethal
we'll,
weapon.
we'll go with the Lethal
We
Weapon
go,
one.
we go, we go, with the, we
Okay,
go,
bro.
we go with we go with the lethal weapon. I mean, it's the same thing, honestly. I mean, but I don't know. We
I
go
like
with
that one because it's got the Fiend in, but I'm, not that I'm a Bray Wyatt mark or anything. It's just, I'm a mark. Next step, yeah, we both think the Street Profits are going to win, obviously. Next up, SmackDown Tag Team Title Championship ladder match. John Morrison and The Miz, the champions, versus the Usos versus the New Day.
So tonight is actually SmackDown. So I think they're gonna do the make the alternate change, and I think it's probably gonna turn into a triple threat, and it's gonna be Morrison, one of the Usos, and one of the members of New Day in a triple threat ladder match for the SmackDown tag titles instead of a triple threat tag team ladder match because the Miz is sick.
Okay. Who could they put in instead of The Miz if they wanted
No,
to?
uh,
Just, I'm trying to think if there's like someone who springs to mind where, oh yeah, that would make sense. And there's not really,
I don't
unless
really
you
think
Joey
nobody.
Mercury.
Bring back Melina for the
Yeah, for
SmackDown
the
tag title ladder match.
yeah. I don't think they're touching Joey Mercury anytime soon. I gotta be honest.
But I think I think they give it to the Usos. I think it would have been so much better if they won the match with the crowd reaction, but again, that's not the case we in. But I think the Usos are going to win.
Yeah, I it's difficult. I don't think they want to put him on the New Day again yet. Um, I don't think. I think the Miz has probably got a bit of heat, to be honest,
Mm-hmm.
and rightly so. I gotta say, rightly so. In the current climate, he should not have been going anywhere near that performance center if he was remotely sick. Like before my wife was working from home, I was getting really pissed off with people who were going to work when they were feeling a bit rough and had a bit of a cold. And I was like, for fuck's sake, they're telling you to stay at home because they don't want you to like spread this virus around, and
Mm.
these people would just kept going. Just keep doing it, man. So I think he's got heat. I think even if it's just heat from the boys, Roman Reigns has got some pull. He would have been, he would have voiced his displeasure at the very least that Miz came to work sick. So I think for that reason, I think if the Miz wasn't sick or hadn't come in sick, I think they would have kept the titles on them. But I think the Usos is the right call anyway. What's next, my friends? What have we got? Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins.
I,
Bit of a
I,
match
I,
of the night.
I don't know why, but I feel like this match is like a banger. I don't like. I know it's already taped, but I feel like they probably killed it. Like crowd or no crowd, like they were gonna kill it.
Yeah, me too. Kevin Owens is the kind of guy who will still take a crazy, especially since he's been a babyface. If you watch his matches since he's turned full blown babyface, um, like his pay per view matches since he's been
Mm.
full blown babyface, he's taken some freaking crazy bumps. Um, and I think that he'll take some sort of crazy bump to win. That's just my guess, though, obviously. But I just think that these two will want to steal the show with some real, like when you've got like Edge and Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar and Drew McIntyre and Goldberg on the card and all these like bit Undertaker, John Cena. Those are the kind of guys which these two kind of grew up on. Apart from Randy, obviously, and I just think that they're the guys that they want to really go out and steal the show on the card, which those people are on. Again, just my opinion, and I just think of all the matches, of all the just straight up matches, this is the only one which really I'm like, yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah, I'm super interested in Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins. I don't really know who should win or who I really don't know. Like it's like a hard choice because I mean you could really go either way, and I really don't have an issue with either one because I feel like you can continue the story with either one winning or losing regardless of what happens.
I think Kevin Owens will win simply because they can tell a story that kind of Seth Rollins, didn't have his backup and this, that, and the other, and then whenever they do the rematch, he can have Buddy Murphy and which one's injured out of Razor and
Uh,
Akam.
yeah, Razar's injured.
Such bad luck.
I think they got a torn pec, torn tricep, one of those.
Sucks, man, because they've been really good since they came back as well. Every time they seem to get like positioned for a big push, one of them gets injured. I feel for them, but eventually, Vinnie Mac, he'll get that shit won't fly. Getting injured, he sees that as weakness. Hmm. Um. So yeah, I think Kevin Owens will win this. What about you, my friend?
Um, I'm gonna go Kevin Owens.
Wow, this is incredible. We've agreed on like um every single outcome so far, which means they're all going to be wrong.
Mhm.
Um,
Mhm.
Intercontinental Championship, Sami Zayn, the Liberator, Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. Um,
I think this match would have been a banger.
yeah, I think this is going to be fantastic. However, I would be I'll be exceptionally disappointed if Sami Zayn does not win, even though I think that Daniel Bryan will probably win because I feel like they're going to go down the, like I just said about the what's it called, baby faces winning. I just feel like that's the way they're going to go. But I would like to see Sami Zayn be built up, and also, like you said, was it what Bree said?
Yeah, he
Um,
got an autoimmune disease.
Yeah, so I'm in no rush at all to see Daniel Bryan rushing
But
to
hey, but
performance centers to do shows in the
but
next months.
Daniel Bryan did say on that podcast that his contract is gonna be up around the time that Brie Bella gives birth, and he has not resigned. So that is very interesting, considering WWE is not doing well. That we don't know what the future holds for any wrestling promotion, honestly. But specifically speaking about this, Daniel said that around the time that Brie Bella, either before or after she gives birth, his contract expires with the company. So that's gonna be interesting because he said that he literally said during that interview, he said he thinks he's done being a full-time wrestler. Like he's done with that shit. Like he wants to be home.
Well, it's
Kids.
weird.
He said the
It's
one thing that he really wanted to do was, when he said he wanted to be a part timer, he means like, once a month, twice a month, like
come in
stuff
for the
like that.
big shows.
Big shows, like, and I'm pretty sure, like, and of course we speculated on this before, like, just like us separately with Daniel Bryan, because he, when he had that whole situation when before All In, when people thought he was gonna not resign, and he ended up resigning, which I think was a good move for him,
Yeah, absolutely.
personally. But now it's at a situation where let's say the independent scene get back up. Do is so much stuff that he can do and survive financially, and then like I think it would be less uh like less worrisome about the Bellas' relationship with WWE if Daniel Bryan were to go back to the independent scene instead of like going to something like AEW, because I think that would like cause some issues. But I think if he would just go back and just do shows on the independent scene as he sees fit with his own schedule, I think that would be like crazy. And can you imagine like the buzz that would bring to the independent scene and the money
Oh
that
yeah.
he would make?
Oh
Boy,
yeah.
I swear, if he went back to the independent scene, he could charge whatever the hell he wanted. I promise you, these promoters would pay him just to get him on the show.
Yeah, I agree with you. The only thing I would say is I wouldn't be surprised to see him do what Jericho did, where before he signed for AEW, where he went to New Japan, came back to WWE. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did like an independent run, maybe did like an appearance in New Japan, and then came back to WWE for like a SummerSlam program or one of the big show programs. But then equally, I wouldn't be surprised to see them give him like a Brock Lesnar schedule of like
Oh yeah, you know,
3 million a year and just come in once a month, do some angles.
you know damn well they gonna do whatever they can to get Daniel Bryan to resign. Like that's a dude you do not want to lose at all.
Yeah, and they should as well. So, he's still one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Like
So
I'm pretty sure like they gonna probably throw the bank at him, and rightfully so. But like just from how he was talking during that podcast, he said he doesn't want to be a full-time wrestler anymore.
but he
So
said that when he came back from his injuries that
yeah, but
he
I mean, I
wasn't
mean,
going
I
to be
mean, but when
full
you,
time.
I mean, but when you factor in him having a second kid, and then him already doing what I'm pretty sure he already got that bug out. Like when he first came back, he went, he probably had the wrestling bug, wanted to get that out the way. He won the WWE title. He was champion for like what two? No, he won the title like in November of 2018 and held it until April and dropped it to Kofi. Like he had I think his run was like real weird at first when he first came back. They put him with big cast and it wasn't working for me.
Strange, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then they had him and Kane win the SmackDown tag titles, and then like that's when he turned heel, and I think that was probably one of the best runs for him in WWE outside of his lead up to WrestleMania 30. But I mean, I don't. Me personally, I don't think that he will actually leave. I think WWE gonna do whatever they can to keep him. I just think it would be cool if he did
It
go
would
back to
be
the
cool.
independent thing, like, and he went back to compete like for a Black Label Pro or a AAW or GCW, like just to, what I'm saying, just to get back. And I think it'd be cool if he did that, and I'm pretty sure like the money would be fucking amazing that they would throw at him.
Oh yeah, yeah. It would be cool, and it would be like a breath of fresh air for the independent scene. But equally,
He
if
like
if
also just to add in real
WWE
quick.
offers him like 3 mil or whatever to come into work once a month and he stays at home with his family for the other 29 days. As a father myself, like I find it very difficult to believe that he's turning that down.
Right. And no, but just also for like just for the sake of speculation, can you imagine the amount of people on the independent scene that would want to work with him?
Oh God, yeah, the matches would be insane. All right, but then all right, so I'll flip what I just said there.
That was a good talk.
Yeah, man. But I'll flip what I just said, where I find it difficult to believe that he would turn down that amount of money for that schedule. In that, Daniel Bryan is not short of a few bucks. He's made very good money for WWE as a top guy, and he is also not a person, much like Matt Hardy, who is just driven by the financial side of it. He is just as much driven by the creative side, and having his kind of creative juices satisfied. So if he feels that he can go and work New Japan, Black Label Pro, MLW, wherever, Ring of Honor, and work some big names who really take his fancy, like a Zack Sabre Jr., for instance. I know he's talked about working with. If he can do that and still make good money, then I think he'll do that. I wouldn't be surprised to see him do that either.
Give me ZSJ versus Daniel Bryan any day, bruh.
Oh, sure.
Any day. Any day.
For sure. That'd be amazing. So do we think he's going to beat Sami Zayn?
Yeah. Because I mean, I never really seen them making Sammy a priority, and like I don't get why they would do it now.
Yeah,
so
why start now?
Yeah,
but
so it's
I do like his little stable, though. I got to be honest.
Yeah, I like the stable too.
If you could add one person to that stable, who would you add?
Apollo Crews. Get him on TV.
Not a bad shout. What about Eric Rowan?
Nah. Ain't gonna work.
But what I like about it is I was joking about Eric Rowan, but what I like about that stable is they're all really good workers.
Exactly.
So yeah, like an Apollo Crews or a Cedric Alexander, I feel like they would have been really good. I actually always thought Daniel Bryan was a fantastic fit for the stable, but I can kind of understand,
I like what Bryan doing with Drew McIntyre.
Okay. Sorry, mate. I just lost my place. SmackDown Women's Championship Fatal 5-Way Elimination. This match is going to be long. It's Bayley, the champion, versus Sasha, versus Naomi, versus Lacey, versus Tamina. Tamina, strange choice.
I mean, Carmella's on quarantine, so and that not in a bad way. She just staying safe. So I mean, I don't really see like I think you just had to get somebody in there, and they got somebody in there. So
Lana.
Lana's on Raw.
Is she? Oh, yeah, of course she is, because she's been with Bobby. Big Bobby.
Yeah, big Bobby. But I think what everybody's expecting is, everybody's like, looking for the Sasha Banks, Bayley eventual match, but I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon.
That ain't happening. They ain't gonna waste that turn on this. I don't think they might do like a miscommunication.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't see them doing the full turn on this show.
I think either Bayley retains or Lacey Evans wins.
Yeah, I don't see any other real outcome.
What other than?
I would like to see. Either Bayley or Lacey.
Evans.
I don't see any of them winning, other than if they were going to swerve people I maybe Tamina as like a complete swerve because
Mm.
I've heard that she's looking to retire relatively soon, or I've heard a few like whispers and tweets and stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if they gave her like a short run as champion, as like a kind of like farewell or thank you sort of thing.
Mm.
But apart from that, yeah, I don't know. Um, okay, the main event of the whole weekend, the
That
Firefly Funhouse.
real quick,
Go on.
that's something I do right there. Be like, oh yeah, she pulled the John Moxley. She was like, yeah, I'm about to retire. Get
Yeah,
and so John Moxley got out of his contract
yeah.
to mean to get that title push.
Get that send off. Get that send off, baby. The Firefly Funhouse match: John Cena versus the Fiend Bray Wyatt.
Bray Wyatt needs to win this match.
Oh
If
my
he,
god! Can you imagine they put John Cena over again?
with me and you got to do an immediate podcast reaction solely on the match.
Just on that match, yeah, we'll just like proper like rant. I can't. I just can't even fathom that that would happen. So, um, I'm quite looking forward to this just to see what they do with it and see how creative they come up and see what they can create and see. But like I said, I think we might see Bo Dallas. Um, who else might we see? Don't know. I think we might
Mm,
see the beginnings of a stable, even if we don't see the whole thing, but just a few little Easter eggs or hints at maybe a fiend stable.
yeah, I definitely think that we're gonna see like some cameo appearances. Like we see like Teddy Long in the kitchen or something like that. Holla holla holla. Like why Bray Wyatt beating the hell out of John Cena. So but I think Bray Wyatt gonna win. It really shock me if Cena
Yeah,
didn't. I mean, if Cena does win, which I don't really think is going to happen, I think that would just completely defeat the purpose and
of doing
absolutely,
this match again.
yeah. And then that Cena doesn't seem like the type of dude like who's coming back to get a victory.
Yeah, or
So
make the same mistake twice by
exact.
screwing Bray Wyatt over at
And, I mean, you
WrestleMania.
know what? Yeah, I'm gonna debate you on this just because we agreeing too much. So look, I know people were unhappy that John Cena beat Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 30, but it should have happened. It should have happened. It is what needed to happen. He needed to beat Bray Wyatt because look, Si, even if Bray Wyatt would have won, right? Let's say he won, and Bray Wyatt goes on to be world champion. Bray Wyatt was going to get squashed by Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam that year anyway. That's what happened to John Cena. He won the Money in the Bank that year, I believe, and that's when he had that squash match with Brock Lesnar, where Lesnar just beat the hell out of him and won the titles. So I would have preferred, honestly, if Cena beat Wyatt at WrestleMania and Cena took that L at SummerSlam, then it happened in the Bray Wyatt. Because if can you imagine the reaction if that would have happened to Bray Wyatt? Like if he would have
Oh yeah, it would have been horrific.
zero offense on Brock Lesnar, people would have been, oh, Bray Wyatt's buried. He's never coming back. Like some things happen for a reason, and I think that was a good thing that he didn't beat John Cena. Because I mean, if you beat Cena at that point, then you might as well go ahead and have Bray Wyatt win a world title. And it seemed like all the destination was Brock Lesnar at the end. So can you
Yeah,
imagine? Can you
yeah, I can
imagine
get on board with that.
Bray Wyatt just completely jobbing out the Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2014? That would have been the end. The end. There would be no Fiend.
Yeah, I was I was more pissed off about Bray Wyatt losing to the Undertaker at WrestleMania than I was to
Oh
him
yeah,
losing
that was
to John
stupid.
Cena. That
That
was
was
just
stupid.
straight up bullshit.
Undertaker just lost the
Especially
year before.
and especially because no, he had lost the year before, and the Undertaker didn't turn up for any of the build-up. Bray Wyatt carried the whole feud. Then he did some incredible promos. If you go back and watch the promo, the go home promo from I think it's the Raw before WrestleMania that year, Bray Wyatt cuts one of his best promos ever. It is incredible. and then this old motherfucker turns up and beats him in like 10 minutes, gives him nothing. Yeah,
Tombstone.
yeah, one tombstone, choke slam,
It's old man.
and did it, but destroyed the rest of the Wyatt family at the same time. It's just bullshit. Yeah, I think the Fiend's winning this. Fiend's winning this. The reason I think that we might see the beginnings of some sort of like stably type thing for the Fiend, I think that Bray Wyatt will want to avoid the character becoming stale, so he'll want to come out of this match with something completely different. And the fact that it's like a funhouse match means that, like, everyone's speculated that the different characters in the funhouse represented different people. Could represent real people as well as representing different aspects of Bray Wyatt's psyche and character. So if you wanted to ever do that, now's the time to do. If you're ever going to do that, you do it now when you've got this funhouse match about to take place. But we'll see. The Undertaker versus AJ Styles in a Boneyard match. I'm assuming they're going to put the Funhouse match on one night and the Boneyard match on the other night. I don't see them putting them both on the same night. Do you think?
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Who's winning, AJ or the Undertaker?
AJ.
Ooh,
I'm going AJ.
I'm going to go.
I know a lot of people were speculating about like the Undertaker saying he was going to bring the Holy Trinity with him to, I guess, combat Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson. So if that is actually a thing, I'm interested as to who Undertaker is going to bring. He about to bring back
Kane and I would have thought it would have going to be Kane and Aleister Black.
Kane and Big Show.
Yeah, very possibly. But if Aleister Black didn't have a match with Bobby Lashley earlier in the show, I'd think Kane and Aleister Black probably make the most sense in terms of either character or links to the Undertaker.
Now, real quick, AJ Styles did an interview and he said that Boneyard match was not the original plan for the match. So do you think it probably was going to be that tag team match with him, Gallows and Anderson versus Undertaker and Aleister Black? You think that was the original plan, or you think the original plan was a singles match?
I think it was probably the
the handicap tag team.
Yeah, the 6-man tag match or handicap tag match. And then I think once they knew they could record it,
they just went ahead
to change it because they could
work around. That makes a lot of sense in seeing as how Aleister Black is in this random match now.
Yeah,
that do kind of make sense. I do probably now that you say that, I do kind of think that probably was a direction. I think that would have been good, like Undertaker and Aleister Black versus Gallows, because I mean Aleister Black obviously, Aleister and AJ obviously could have carried that match, and then you got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, and I think Undertaker could have came in for for the big stuff and they hit all their signature moves and sending it home.
And that WrestleMania entrance of the Undertaker and Aleister Black together would have been epic. They would have come up with some like creative way for them to come in together and have this big, huge WrestleMania entrance.
You need Aleister Black on the back of Undertaker's motorcycle.
Yeah. They're going to do you think he's going to be the badass Undertaker rather than the dead man?
Let me tell you something, bro. If they waited until when nobody was at this WrestleMania to bring back the American, I'm turning it off.
Especially in what's effectively a buried alive match.
Yeah, but I'm like, bro, pointless. People have literally been waiting for y'all to give this man the American badass or big evil character back, and people they just ignore it. Like even that, they waited until Matt Hardy left WWE to give Jeff Hardy No More Words back.
This is stupid. No Jeff Hardy on the show, by the way.
Don't waste that. that first reaction to no more words to this to nothing.
Yeah. Well, he was on SmackDown, wasn't he? And he came
But
out
but
to that.
but no, he came out to the regular Hardy Boys thing. He like
Did he?
he just got no more words back like last week.
Ah, right, okay.
He confirmed it. He said they gave him
No,
back.
I thought he was on WWE backstage.
No, he was on the bump and announced that he
He
got
said that. He
no
said that on backstage as well.
he was on backstage, but he got asked that during the Q&A after the show. Like they did the Q&A session and somebody asked him, would you like the theme back?
Oh, right,
And
okay.
he was
With
like,
you,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And then he got on the bump and then he said they confirmed that he got the theme back. And I'm like, why couldn't y'all give him back 3 years ago when he, I mean, I know he was still with Matt Hardy, but like Jeff Hardy was US champion. Like why y'all ain't, you know? It was
They
confusing.
wasted Matt Hardy. Last man standing. The Edge versus Randy Orton.
You heard what he said during the interview. This match gonna be hard to follow.
Do you think this main event's night one?
Nah, I think the both title matches, WWE and Universal, are going to main event both nights.
Nah, no way. Goldberg versus Braun Strowman's main event any night.
All right.
It'll Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre will main event one, and then the other one will either be Edge versus Orton or Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go Becky versus
No
Shayna and
way. Braun
Drew
Strowman
versus Brock.
versus Oldberg is going to be. No way. I'm not having that at all. No fucking chance.
Oldberg.
He's just. This just makes me sick.
I can't wait for the one-on-one confrontation between ACEcast Nation and Goldberg face to face.
Yeah, he's too scared to come on my show.
Oh man,
I'd ask him the real questions.
Why'd you be defending Saudi Arabia?
I would love to know, like if the decision was purely just because they didn't want Roman Reigns to be booed. But then did you know what I was thinking the other day? If the only reason was that they didn't want Roman Reigns to be booed at WrestleMania specifically, why wouldn't they have slotted in? You could do like the winner of John Cena versus The Fiend on night one could face Goldberg on night two.
I mean, because I don't think they ever planned on doing a 2-night WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, but I mean, when Roman Reigns pulled out, you could have done the winner of The Fiend and John Cena gets.
I mean, remember when Roman pulled out, they already had all that stuff taped, like the contract signing. It was too late for all that shit now, like to change the storyline.
I'm assuming they're going to do some sort of angle because they still haven't announced it officially.
Oh yeah, no. Triple H did an interview on Ariel Helwani's show and said that Roman Reigns is going to get pulled from the storyline in a, and I quote, unique manner. So I'm guessing that's tonight because they don't really have any other way to do that. So to do that
Braun
unique
Strowman's going to say, "I'm not finished with you," which will be quite funny just to hear him say that again, and then throw Roman Reigns through a window or something.
I think it would just be easy if you just put the video up of Roman saying that he wasn't going to be at WrestleMania, but that's just me.
Yeah, but then you got to like find out a way to, I don't know,
Have him send another video
to decide Braun Strowman, like why Braun Strowman.
Yeah, that's
Whereas
true.
if you have Braun Strowman attack Roman Reigns, you can have Goldberg cut a promo saying, "I'll fight you for, like whatever, some bullshit from the old man." Who's going to win, Edge versus Orton?
Edge.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm so disappointed he's not gonna be able to get his big power.
Yeah, I think the only thing, there's like one little part of me. There's a couple of matches where I feel like this, and this is one of them, where I do wonder whether they'll have Randy Orton win in like some dastardly way, like handcuff Edge or like pile a load of stuff onto him or like so he can't get up to prolong it so that Edge
Yeah,
can have that match in a
in front of a crowd.
like a cage match or
Yeah,
do something.
I can see that. I can see that.
Just I don't know. There's some they've come up with some creative ways to finish last man standing matches over the last couple of years. So you know, could you do that? Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair.
Mm. Uh, I'm gonna go Rhea, and then Rhea drops the title to Io Shirai.
Oh, that'd be good. I would love that.
Cause I can't see Charlotte staying in NXT. Like I mean I could see it, but like I don't really see the point of her. I mean you can have her be Rhea Ripley and then have her drop the title to Io Shirai because I think Io Shirai is gonna win that ladder match. So I mean I feel like if it'll be a good win under Io's belt if she took the title off Charlotte. But like when would you do that match?
Yeah, it's difficult. No, it's
Yeah,
difficult in the current climate.
I think it'd just be easy to have Rhea beat Charlotte and then have Io take the title off Rhea.
Yeah,
And,
yeah,
and WWE better prepare for the Bianca Belair fans because they would not be happy about this at all.
oh yeah, yeah. She is popular as well. Yeah, I think Rhea Ripley wins. It should be a good match though.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested in that match, honestly.
Like Charlotte Flair normally has pretty good matches at WrestleMania. Um, normally. Raw Women's Championship: Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler.
Shayna Baszler.
She better choke out Becky after all this, otherwise it is a waste.
Yeah, I think Shayna go. I honestly like if this coronavirus thing, if it didn't come about, I think the proper thing the proper thing to do was to have Becky just go away into like SummerSlam, like keep her off TV, like let her go home. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
she's worked an insane schedule for the last
bro,
year.
she's been on 100 since last year around this time. Like, people, and surprisingly, people are still behind her. But I think I think people are just ready for a change. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
bro, give Shayna the ball, let her run with it, and then like have Becky come back at like SummerSlam. Like sometimes I think WWE need to realize like you got to make the fans miss somebody, and they ain't gonna miss them if they're on TV every damn week. Like, keep
yeah.
her off for a couple months, let her go refresh herself, and then she come back fresh, and then get a rematch.
I agree completely. And I also think that like in order to have other people on the same level as how they view the horsewomen, you've got to have some. You've got to push the other people, and you've got to have them win that big match. So Shayna has to win this match. She has to win it clean, and then I'd like same as you. I'd like to see Becky get some time off for a while, because she is literally she's on everything. She works,
All the interviews.
everywhere. Yeah, she's doing everything. Give the girl a break. That's what I say. Um, okay, what else we got next? Goldberg versus Braun Strowman. Mm.
Goldberg. I'm going Goldberg.
It's a tricky one
It
because
ain't this man done lost side. This man has lost 5 Universal Championship matches in the span of a year. You think you think that I'm gonna believe that they're gonna believe in Braun Strowman now, all of a sudden. I mean, I could see them doing it just for the switch sake, but like, bro, it's too late. It's too late for people to care. Like, I can see them still doing it, but I'm talking about like as far as crowd reaction when they do get back in front of people. Like, bro, this should have happened 3 years ago.
I just think I agree with you. By the way, it should have happened years ago. I just something just hit me then. Like everyone's assuming that Braun Strowman will be responsible for Roman Reigns not being in the match from a storyline point of view.
Right.
But what if they embraced heel Goldberg and had Goldberg do something to take Roman out, and then Braun Strowman kind of steps up as the not the savior, but like the.
No, that'd be cool. I wouldn't mind that. That's a good idea.
But then I wouldn't be against having the old Braun Strowman versus Roman Reigns feud revisited with heel Braun. But do you run the risk that the audience picks Braun over Roman? Have they killed Roman? Have they killed Braun enough that people would cheer Roman definitely over Braun? Well, if Braun wins the title, I mean, and then they do Braun versus Roman. Like, have they killed Braun enough that people would cheer Roman? Because the last time they did the feud,
I definitely don't think that Braun's momentum is where it was those years ago when he should have won the Universal title. But
no,
I still think that people would cheer him over Roman. I don't know why. I really do just think that they would choose him over Roman.
Yeah, I do too. I just think they want to get the title off Goldberg, which is the only reason I think they might put it on Braun. It's clearly not the plan, but I just don't think they want that title on Goldberg. It was a short-term thing to get it off Bray and onto Roman. I just don't see them doing that. But the other thing is, people seem to be forgetting Goldberg is like, what, 50? 50 something?
Yeah,
55? He shouldn't really be out, in the current climate.
Don't do that, sir.
He shouldn't be, should he? Same as The Undertaker shouldn't be.
Okay, all right, you fair, right? I'm about to say something. You an asshole for real. if you about to weave that into your explanation.
No. I just mean that, like, from a business point of view.
I know what you mean.
The WWE doesn't want to have a load of titles on people who can't come to their shows to drop them. Like, now's your time to get the title off these whoever, whether it's Goldberg or Brock or whoever. You need to get the titles onto people who are most likely to be able to work your shows regularly, is what I would say. So like Brock lives in Canada, isn't going to be able to travel to the US at some point when the full lockdown comes, which it'll probably happen, even if it's only for a short period of time. It will probably happen at some point. So it's just trying to be like them trying to think of it in advance, not after it happens. But, whatever. I think they'll put it on Braun. The Braunster.
We're going to see. We're going to see. But you want to know what? Guess what, Si?
What, bro?
You're next.
No.
I love trolling you about Goldberg, bro. This is hilarious. I will forever cherish that clip. But when I pulled up him at the Universal title and then he won it.
Previously on Ace Podcast Nation.
Before you end the show, one last thing. Man. Greatest clip ever.
You mean that clip?
Yep. Greatest clip ever, bro. Greatest clip ever. Oh yeah, Sat, I wanted to get your thoughts about this. I know you probably know that the NBA shut down. What do you think? Like just off topic wrestling, real quick, just give people some like a little bit of variety before we wrap up. What do you think about the NBA? So this is what they did. I'm pretty sure you know what NBA 2K20 is, a video game, right? I'm pretty sure you
Yeah,
heard
yeah.
about that. So what they're doing is they struck a deal. Well, they already got a deal, but they set up another deal with ESPN. And what they're going to do, they're going to have players on players in the NBA play games of NBA 2K on ESPN live stream, like and have them like play out the schedule, stuff like that. Like I think that's actually like a real like since you can't like really do anything, I think that's like a real good alternate, and I'm pretty sure people going to tune in, and I'm interested to see
So
like actual viewership for that.
with that, will they like whoever wins get the
Oh
title
no,
and
no,
the
no,
trophy?
it's just all fun and games.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's cool. I think they should do that for the Premier League as well. Um, that'd be
That
quite.
would be cool for FIFA, not like for FIFA 20. I think that'd
Yeah,
be
that'd be
cool.
awesome,
That
mate.
that's to create like, and then at that you could have like the camera set up so people can actually see the players and stuff. Like I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's what you do, though, isn't it? You got to try and find ways to entertain people and to create content. So that's how you do it. Is you come up with ways to create content and entertain people. But some companies are a bit further behind than others when it comes to that. But there we go. But so just to finish off, last one, WWE Championship match: Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre.
Uh, Honestly, I can see either one. Honestly, I can. I don't know why, but I can see Brock retaining just for the simple fact that I think Drew McIntyre's title win was going to be such like a crowd based thing, like that genuine reaction, that nice moment. Like I could actually see Brock winning and then Drew winning it later down the line. But I don't know. But I read it, like I told you off. I read this interview with Drew McIntyre's dad yesterday, and I was like, oh my goodness, that man loves
Mm.
his youngin. He love him some Drew McIntyre, some Drew Galloway. But yeah, it was like I mean, like I can really see it going either way. But just for the sake of picking one, I'm gonna say Brock.
Yeah, I think Brock. As much as I think the plan has been Drew all along, I think
Yeah,
Brock makes the most sense because Drew winning it without the crowd doesn't mean the same. Um, and they could bring out his dad and they could do all these different things to try and create the emotion, but it's not the same.
yeah, but his dad can't even get into the country.
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah, so they can't really create that emotion.
Yeah, and that's when in the interview again, his dad said they were bringing like his brother, and
Oh
Drew
yeah,
Mc,
they would have brought all of them, wouldn't they?
Drew McIntyre. His mother passed away a couple of years ago, I think, or some time ago. But
Mm,
his dad was gonna, yeah, his dad was coming, his brother was coming, like the whole family mostly were gonna be there. Drew's wife, like they like everybody was gonna be at WrestleMania in Tampa to see him, and I'm pretty sure normally when you fly the family in, 9 times out of 10 that means that the change is coming. Like even when
yeah,
I remember when the Street Profits won in Brooklyn, and then earlier that day it was reported that Bianca Belair was coming in to Raw, and like that
yeah,
that, that like that's when you kind of knew like yeah they won the titles because they flew the family in.
yeah. It was obvious that it's obvious. Then I think Brock wins. I think it just makes the most sense to
Let,
to prolong it.
let me
You
ask you
know,
this. So
what
when
I would
so,
have him do. Sorry, I would have him. I would have Drew hit the Claymore, and then I'd have like Heyman pull the ref's leg or something, and then Drew get distracted, and Brock like kick him in the balls or something, like completely screw him over in his big moment,
right.
so that you can then do it. And as soon as you can do it in front of a crowd, you do it and you do it.
That's what I was about to ask you. I was about to say, so since we both think that Brock might retain, like what would you say is next for Brock until you can do that Drew McIntyre match, considering that WWE is going to continue taping, which I don't know how they are like at all, but I feel like they're gonna find a way, some way, somehow. What would you say is next for Brock, or you think you just keep him off TV as a whole until
Um,
like August or something?
what you could do is you could have him do like what I just said, where he screws Drew over with like a kick in the balls, and then you could have him because like Drew went nuts on him on the stage at Raw where on when the fans were still there, and he did like a load of claymores and hit him
Yeah.
with a chair. You could have Brock kind of like punish him after the match, maybe put like his leg in a chair or something, and like injure him, put him on the shelf in inverted commas till August, and then you have him make like his big return to win the title at SummerSlam or something. In the meantime, you could do I wouldn't be against like an AJ Styles feud, or I don't know, like who else have we got?
Real quick, one interesting idea, and I even saw Charlotte Flair. She
Bobby
tweeted this out.
Lashley.
That would, yeah, if they would have ever do that, this would probably be the time, like, because you just need a place filler. But I saw Charlotte Flair. She even tweeted out, and I know it was some ideas that WWE had sent to their survey, asking people would they mind if like people like watch WrestleMania like live, like I'm talking about like you see the reactions of people watching live, like as the matches are happening.
Yeah,
But
that'd be good.
I think the only reason, bro, because people don't know, some people don't know how to act, like behave at all.
Yeah,
It's like you watching the AJ Styles Undertaker match, and then you see like a AEW poster
yeah,
in one of the things. So somebody doing something crazy. Like I don't put nothing past a damn soul. Like somebody get up and show their ass cheeks on screen or something. Like I'm telling you, bro, people crazy.
yeah. People are stupid, and they're just like
Can you imagine? Like,
people just want to be famous for the wrong reasons as well. Is
can
the other
you
thing.
can you imagine somebody like actually doing that live on the network?
Yep,
But that would be a clip that is going to last for the rest of time.
forever, ever, forever, ever, ever. Yeah, I could imagine it. People are dumb as fuck. They really are.
Bro, that would be hilarious. I'm not gonna lie. I would laugh. That would be hilarious. That would be
Yeah,
hilarious.
just like rip off an AEW t-shirt and then flash their ass. You can see it.
So you wanna know what's crazy though? Like I can really see that happening. Like seriously. Like
What would be funny is like when they do like the big reveals where they have like a wrestler dress up as the cameraman, and then
mm,
they slowly remove like a wig and then a hat, and then it's revealed as like the bad guy or whatever. Is if you had someone like reacted on camera throughout the show, and then in the main event they like slowly removed like a wig and their glasses and a fake nose, and it was like Kenny Omega or like Nick Jackson or someone from AEW. That'd be funny.
that would be ridiculous. I you know what I don't think Tony Khan would let that fly.
No,
Like
I don't.
I know Tony Khan. He could get with anybody, but I'm pretty sure he wouldn't even go for something
No,
like
he
that.
wouldn't.
Like
He wouldn't like it, would
he'd
he?
be like don't be stupid. Like don't do that. But
No
yeah,
need. No need for it. Is there?
I could definitely see something crazy like how we talked about before happening. Somebody doing something crazy on screen. But Charlotte Flair, she did tweet out that she was thinking about setting up one of those, like for her personally, like people
Yeah.
that want to, yeah. So I don't think it's a bad idea, get people watching. I still don't think it's a bad idea to throw in a few wrestlers in the crowd from NXT that nobody's ever seen before and just have them cheer. I still don't like have them sit far away from each other. But
Yeah, and you could do. I liked what AEW did, but I thought was very clever, where they had the wrestlers betting on the matches, because I just thought that was a creative way to have people making noise, and
mhm.
it gives a reason why they care about the outcome because they bet on it.
I'm
Um,
telling you, bro, just a little bit of noise will make so much difference.
yeah, it does. It does make it makes a massive amount of difference. Um, so yeah, that's
We've been going 2 hours,
WrestleMania.
bro.
I know. My leg's starting to hurt now, so we're
That
gonna
that
gonna
that that's a proper WrestleMania review right there. 2 hours.
yeah, bro. Um, I'll be back next week to review
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
for sure. It's not as if we got anything else on, mate. Let's be honest. Kind of
Uh,
where you have, because you're working from home and
yeah.
interviewing the people, but
Only
the rest of us are just sat at home watching Netflix.
only thing we could review. Um, that's it. WrestleMania and Raw and NXT and
Yeah,
AEW, and we've confirmed it's confirmed that we got AEW for the next couple months. So
that's fantastic. I'm very, very happy about that.
I mean, at least we know we got AEW. I mean, I think
We
NXT
got stuff to talk about,
yeah, I think NXT is gonna be taped through um
at least for a few weeks.
yeah, at least for a few weeks, but AEW they set for like the next couple months. So
Sweet. Yeah, so we got plenty of shows to come then
how about
between.
how about like you know how about next week we do a review since that's a big show, or we do 2 weeks from now because that I think that's the episode when the AEW World Title match, and then we could review the TNT Title tournament, and then we could also review whichever takeover match is going to be on the show in 2 weeks. I know the ladder match is on next week, and I'm pretty sure it's gonna be another takeover match. Maybe we get Adam Cole versus Velveteen Dream going head to head with Moxley and Hager.
Yeah, could do. So
So we can
what?
so
Do
review,
we'll review WrestleMania next week,
yeah.
and then
The week after that, we can do the big for the two champ because like I kind of think that's the route that NXT gonna go and have the NXT Championship go head to head with the AEW World Championship.
yeah, that'd be interesting. Be
So and then, and
very
then
interesting.
and then we could do a review for that big episode since it's two world title matches.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Okay, so you can find Andrew at AD Thompson __ on Twitter and youtube.com/ Andrew Thompson interviews.
Custom URL. Let's go.
Custom URL.
Yeah.
You can find me at ACEcast _nation, youtube.com / Ace Podcast Nation, and all the usual places, Facebook, Instagram, and alike. Andrew, thank you for joining me, my friend. I appreciate you.
Man, any time you're the GOAT, one of my dudes. Always love seeing your content. You killing it. Keep killing it, bro. I'm proud of you putting all this content. Proud of you going to channel, working hard, busting your ass. Great dad, man. Taking care of the fam. Cardiff, Cardiff original. So sad y'all won't be getting another takeover because it's gonna be NXT UK Takeover America one of these
Yeah,
days. they gonna
yeah,
they
it's
gonna they
gonna
gonna
be that.
they gonna bring a UK takeover to America. Oh, did you
Oh,
hear
for
about
sure.
so Triple H did it real quick. Triple H did an interview. I think it was with Pat McAfee, and he said that as far as NXT UK, because they running out of television, that they got like 2 weeks of television left, because they were leading up to take over Dublin.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, and he said that because like everybody's on lockdown in the UK for the most part. Like he can't come there and film anything. So he was like, every week they're still going to put out some on the network. Like he'll probably have people like shoot promos and they'll do like highlight packages. But he was like, NXT UK is going to keep airing every week, like until like regardless of what happens. So that's
Mm.
interesting. Like
Yeah,
honestly, I would probably like air like that little Target 24 that they did Tyler Bate and Walter, like just to show it because I think that was really good.
yeah. They got plenty of content which they could probably use. I don't know why they don't do some like live watch along type thing of old shows with the wrestlers.
Bro, bro, that would be like so. No, did you see they actually did something interesting. Did you see when they did the Dream Match Mania on YouTube?
No.
Bro, it's on WWE YouTube. It is hilarious. Like they started up WWE 2K20 and they had the wrestlers uh commentate matches of themselves. Like it was one with so they did Big E versus Goldberg in WWE 2K20, right? And they had Big E and Kofi commentating the match, and Goldberg beat Big E with the jackhammer, bro. It was Big E's reaction was hilarious. Like Goldberg lifted him up for the jackhammer, and when he hit him with it, Kofi and Big E were like, "Easy kick out that too, easy kick out," and then he didn't kick out, and Big E was like, "Y'all done called me on my day off for this foolishness." And I lose. Like it was, and then Sasha Banks did one with Trish Stratus, um, Roman Reigns, The Usos commentated the Roman Reigns match. I think the Miz commentated a match. It was fun. It was a fun little stream, but I'm not gonna lie, it was a good time, like just entertainment wise, like having the wrestlers call matches of themselves in a video game. It was hilarious. But definitely go watch that Big E one. Oh, what happened? Yeah, but definitely go watch that Big E one if you get a chance. So that was cool.
Yeah, man. Okay, Andrew, I appreciate you. I appreciate your kind words, and I will speak to you next week.
Yes,
Ready
sir.
for the WrestleMania review.
Yes, sir.
And
On Monday, right?
for shizzle.
Let's do it.
I just have to work it around my live show.
Yeah, just let me know. I'm down. I'll be available all day. So,
but we could do it at a similar time to this, just maybe a little bit earlier. That's all.
All right. Yeah, that's cool.
To the people who watch, download, thank you, and we'll see you next week. Check out our previous shows and check out our WrestleMania review next week. And shout out to Rob Wilkins for the photo shop.
Shout out to Rob, Big Rob. That's the legend right there, my man.
He's a hero.